and welcome to Get Real Chat. Say hi.
Hello.
We have Kyler. Oh, we got his avatar up. Oh, look at there. We have a room of people in the HostGator office.
What up, HostGator?
What up, HostGator? All right, so everybody, welcome to Get Real Chat. This is the first hangout we have done at our new time at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Get Real Chat in Tuesday afternoon. So we have moved from the evening to the afternoon. And why, you ask? It's because the community has asked us to. So there's a lot more people talking about business things during the day than what we're doing at nighttime. So we wanted to be able to move to the afternoon, and so we could really just engage our community better and have some live discussion, get some awesome people on the phone teaching us things so we can all learn from them. And back in the background, I have Danielle. Say hi to Danielle. Doesn't she look good in headphones? And today we're talking about website development, and we have our wonderful sponsor and host with us, co-host, HostGator team, and they're going to introduce themselves in a minute. But we are going to have 4 community questions first, and everybody's going to chime in. And we have the Marketing Nuts team. They're in another conference room, and they're going to be pushing out questions on the Get Real Chat handles. So make sure you follow that. It's Twitter handle, Get Real Chat, pretty simple. And then we're going to get some feedback from the community. We kind of want to find out what y'all are doing when it comes to website development, what your struggles are, where you're at, and then Kyler and team are going to demo for us how to build a website in a very short time. You're going to see it built live today with even some feedback from community possibly. So Kyler, Philip, I'm going to shift gears and put you on camera. If you could please introduce yourselves. Tell us something serious, something funny, and something. Look at Phil. Is that Philip in the middle?
Yeah, that's me. I'm Phil. Hi.
Okay. Hi, Phil. And then who do we have on the right?
Amelia.
Amelia. We have Kyler here on my left. So I want something serious, something funny, and then something that a tip that you can give to somebody as we kick off. One tip about something with digital.
All right, sounds good. Hey, so my name is Kyler Patterson. I am the Customer Growth Manager here at HostGator. Been on a few of these chats with us before, but just behind Twitter, so now we get to see faces. Something funny is I like to two-step, but I have white guy syndrome, and I'm not very good at it, but I love doing it. Let's see, something serious. I want to help SMBs get on with their websites, get on out there, small business, be successful. And a tip is always ask. Never be afraid to ask. Your answer is always going to be no if you don't ask.
Absolutely. I always say the only dumb question is the one that we don't ask, right? And when it comes to website development and digital and social, there are, I think, every day more questions than we have answers. And so if we're not asking, we're not learning. Agree? Right. Phil is thinking about that one. Now, Phil, do you go by Phil or do you go by Philip?
Only my grandmother calls me Philip, so yes, okay. Phil is fine.
Philly is fine? We can call you Philly?
Phil is fine.
Philly. Okay, Phil.
From HostGator. I'm actually in town from the Houston office today visiting my Austin brethren. Something funny. I'm a pretty serious guy all the time. So. I'm the communications specialist for HostGator. My job is to kind of tell everybody what's going on, keep them in the loop, so I like to use humor. So I'm a funny guy. Something serious. I recommend backing up everything all of the time. That's my serious statement. When in doubt, always make a backup.
Hallelujah. That's
I have a hard time being serious, so.
I lost one site, and that was our site when we first started our agency, and I was on GoDaddy and didn't have backups like they should have, and I'll tell you that was the only site I've ever lost, and it will never happen again.
Always backup. Always, always,
always. Always backup, yes. And next we have Amelia.
I'm Amelia. I am new to HostGator. I'm our content marketing manager here, and I'm really excited to be part of this chat today. Something funny, I've had the longest time to think about it, and I haven't been able to come up with anything, so I will just say something exciting from my own life, which is I ran a half marathon at Disneyland this weekend, which was a lot of fun. And my tip would be to when it comes to social media, use the burrito principle. So any time of day that somebody could conceivably be eating a burrito, like during the morning or lunch or at dinner, is a good time to post on social media, because people like to check social media while eating their burritos.
What about tacos? Because I think some of us honestly can eat tacos like any time of day.
Yeah, maybe let's go with taco. Yeah.
Okay, let's go with the tacos. So, all right. Anything else you want to add before we go into the conversation?
No.
You look like you got a lot to talk about today, Kyler. I like that. I like that. I always like. And Tyler, you need to know the HostGator family. We've been family for a long time, haven't we?
We have. I'll let you know. It's been a long time.
We've done a lot together. And so that's why we are so excited. They've been sponsoring our podcast and chats and all that good stuff for a while now. And our communities just blend so well together. We go together like peanut butter and bread. And we're excited to do this daytime thing. So I'm excited to see what conversations we can get chimed up today. So let's go ahead and get started. Question number 1 for our community is, do you build websites for your clients or contract it out?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We do build in-house, so you can either build it yourself, like I'm going to show you later on, or you can contact us and we can build it yourself. We have some experts in the Houston office, and that's all they do all day, every day, is build websites for our customers.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to pull up, hold on, I got to log in and pull up some Twitter. Danielle, what are you seeing on the tweets?
Nothing yet, but it's got a little bit of a delay.
All right.
But yeah, with that, you get a personal person who can actually help you out. You go, hey, I need this, I want an e-commerce site, I want a blog site, whatever you want, they can make it possible for you.
Love that. There's a lot of people. We work with a lot of different sizes of businesses, and there's just a lot of companies that can't afford our services that need somebody like HostGator to help them get started, right? They really just don't have the money to even hire an agency or a consultant to help them. And I think that's a lot where HostGator can help them out, correct?
Definitely. We definitely try to help you out wherever you can.
Right. So then let me pull up. I'm going to go pull up Get Real Chat. Finally got my Twitter up. Gotta love the power of technology when it works, when it doesn't work.
And you have Amelia here answering all these questions on chat as well. So you want to say hi to her.
Yes.
At HostGator.
What's your Twitter handle, Amelia?
At HostGator is what we're tweeting.
Okay. Oh, yes. How's Snappy doing? Because the last hangout we had Snappy doing some happy dances. That was pretty fun.
We did bring the costume this week, but we weren't able to get a volunteer today. We're a little busy, and we have a smaller room, but he is here.
Awesome. All right. Okay, so next question we have is, what tool do you use to build websites?
You want to take this, Phil?
We have lots of tools. One of the neat features that HostGator has is a product platform called Mojo Marketplace, where we have one-click installs for a lot of our CMSs. So it's just a matter of logging into your cPanel account, clicking on the Mojo Marketplace, one-click install, insert a little bit of information, the name of your website, your email address. Boom, Mojo does the rest for you, and you have your WordPress installed right away. That's probably the most popular tool that a lot of our customers use, particularly with WordPress. And that's the nice feature with it, is that it's one-click install. There's no fuss, no muss. You click a button, and boom, there's your site.
And I'm going to show you how to do that, too, in a minute.
Boom, shakalaka. We get in trouble around this office from all of our younger employees. They think we're a bunch of nerds and we say boom, shakalaka. So I like to say it a lot.
We have a question.
Okay, question. What's the question?
What's the difference between setting up an e-commerce site versus a blog through HostGator? And is there one, and is it harder?
That's a good question.
Well, that's the thing, is a content management system like WordPress can be used for both. E-commerce is typically a site that's designed to sell products on the internet. You'll need different components like an SSL, so you can exchange money to and from your customer, do payment merchant process. I can't talk today. Merchant process services, anything where there's an exchange of currency. If I want to purchase a product from your site, that's an e-commerce site. Whereas a blog is typically just content. There's no merchant processor. You don't need an SSL. You're not taking credit card payments or PayPal. So blogs may be a little bit simpler to set up because there's a lot less components to it, but they're both fairly simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what are the key things that, I think that's a good question to build on. What are the key things do you think that people need to be thinking about when it's e-commerce? Because I know a lot of our clients that come to us, they don't really know where to start other than that they know they need a shopping cart.
Are you going to sell your products to the internet?
Right.
Are you going to work with a merchant processor, or are you going to take payments on your own?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an SSL? SSLs are extremely important if you want to take money, and I think that's kind of the basic if you want to get started with e-commerce. If you're not selling anything, then you're not an e-commerce site.
Right. And they should have SSL from day one, correct?
Absolutely.
You do not want to have to go back and add that if you can avoid
Absolutely.
that situation. Okay, I saw another question that says, do you provide visual design aid and website build, or does the client come to you with that? So basically, how much can you help out with visual design?
Yeah, so we do. Our design team can do pretty much everything from building your website to making your logo to just making flyers or whatever you want. Our design team can do it. Or you can go, if you're building something with something like Weebly inside of HostGator, you can just drag and drop. So it's kind of design within. But if you want, you can come to us, and we have designers who can actually do pretty much any kind of design you want.
Gotta love that. So that's the goal of any entrepreneur, I think, business owner, business leader, is getting those ideas that you have in your head, right, out digitally. Isn't that the challenge for every marketer? It's
Yes,
like,
I'm
I
really good
have
at
it
ideas, but
in my head. How do I get it out, right?
It's putting pen to paper. Sometimes that's the most difficult step.
yes.
That's what
Absolutely.
we have our design services team for.
Hallelujah. Okay, so I know this is a loaded question. Okay, question number 3. How long does it take you to build a website?
Ooh, that is a loaded question. I mean, as I'm going to show you in a few minutes, it's going to take a couple minutes to get a website live on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But the fully completion, everything you want to look exactly how you want, it could take days, it could take months, but really getting online can take literally a few minutes versus when it used to be in the old days where you had to code everything, and one little period could break your entire website and take months just to do that. So I'm going to show you it's really quickly today.
Think of a website like a car. No two cars are exactly the same. A kit car you could put together in a weekend, or some of the older vintage muscle cars. You could spend years putting them together. It's really how much do you want to put into it? Do you really want a robust site with a lot of features?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want just a more of a scaled back kind of basic site? The simpler the design is, the quicker it's going to take. Yeah. But your more advanced are going to obviously take a lot longer. It's how much do you want to put into it?
Right. And what are your goals and objectives, right? So I think understanding what your core goals and objectives are, and a lot of times people think they need an e-commerce site, and yet they don't have their product even defined yet.
Exactly.
So it's like, and then they're trying to, I always say boil the ocean when they really just need to focus on the front yard, like gold. What are those big goldfish? I always forget what those things are called. What are they? Danielle,
I have no
I saw them at the fish store the other day. They're like the big goldfish, but they're outside in a pond.
The koi?
Koi, yes. Like you really need to be focusing on the koi man-made pond, and you have these small businesses that are trying to boil the ocean, right? And it's so, what are your goals? What are your objectives? Where is your business cycle at? How long have you been in business? And what funding do you have to grow that e-commerce site in the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days and on out? And not waiting until you boil that ocean, but getting started, right? Getting your basic site up, getting the blog started, getting online, right? I think is so important. I see so many small businesses that never really make it in business because they're trying to boil the ocean versus focusing on some near-term objectives that they could be achieving.
We see a lot of the same thing too, is that a small business will try to bite off more they can chew, and their project will stall on the launch pad just because they haven't scoped it out, or they don't know what they need, so they try to do too much.
Absolutely. I see that a ton. Okay, so let's see. Any other questions that we have coming in? Using Weebly, do drag and drop templates work?
Of course they work. They wouldn't be in business around as long as they have it. They work. My first website was actually on Weebly, and it's a drag and drop, really. Like, you want an image, drag the image icon, drag it to where you want, upload your image, and it's there. And published, and the way you see it right now is how it's going to be online.
It's a classic WYSIWYG.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. That was one of the first things I learned in my programming class back in high school.
Same here.
Yeah. Back, I was programming in BASIC. What about you? Where did you start?
Turbo Pascal.
Yeah, see, I learned Pascal, C++.
Dating myself a little bit there.
Yeah, that's okay.
I learned in Dreamweaver. I'm not that cool.
Yeah, I see you're cooler than us. You probably don't like the word boom shakalaka either, do you?
When my dad says it, it's awesome.
I played a lot of NBA Jam growing up, so I love Boom Shakalaka.
That should be a new interview question we ask. Do you prefer the term boom shakalaka?
I think
All right, or fleet.
Serious face.
All right, so next question. What do you consider is one of the hardest things about building a website? And you can give us a couple, but give us your top and then maybe give us a couple.
I'll take the first one. My first one is not trying to boil the ocean. It's getting started. Just actually making it happen. Once you start doing, it's like writing an essay. Once you start writing down, then you can actually do more. If you sit there, oh, I got to do this and this and this, you're never going to write your essay. It's just the same way you're never going to build your website if you don't get started.
Exactly. Philip, I know you got something you want to say.
He's going. He's got it.
Got the wheel spinning. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Stick to what you know, and
or don't.
Or don't.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to get really hard with that. You can hire developers, but with the tools you have these days, it's not hard. Just whatever you can figure out yourself, just do it. And if you're not doing it, you're gonna beat yourself. Basically.
Concept and design is usually a big hurdle. You know, deciding on what you want and being able to translate it into digital is usually a pretty big hurdle to come over.
Yeah, I completely agree. And with us, we see a lot of the client having a hard time articulating what it is they need and want, right? And so I think
hard time articulating today.
And we see so many particularly small businesses and large businesses in reality that just get ripped off. They get ripped off from agencies and consultants, and they're spending, way too much money a lot of times on a site that is built in old technology, something that Google isn't even going to be able to understand at all, and it doesn't support modern day social or digital needs, right? And so I think it's so important that you do your research, and I feel very sorry for so many small business leaders and even large that don't understand the technology, right? It's kind of like they don't know what they don't know. And so that's where I think, find that trusted source, ask your friends, talk to companies like HostGator that aren't going to steer you wrong, right? HostGator isn't going to put you on old technology because their business is hosting, and they want to make sure your site is continuously up and isn't causing problems for their other clients, right? So particularly in a shared environment. So I think it's
another important thing is having a proper expectation of what your site's going to be. If you're a brand new business and you want to start off with an e-commerce site, you're not going to be Amazon.com. So you have to understand that there are hundreds of thousands of developers that work on this site. They have a large team. That's all they're dedicated to is make sure that site stays online. So if you're a single person operation or you have a design team, you have to understand that you're going to have to be scaled back a little bit, but not be discouraged by that.
Absolutely. And it's just knowing where you're going to start and knowing how to start, and taking some of the things I think into your own hands as well. So taking responsibility and not just throwing it over the fence, but knowing your business, knowing your customer, knowing what you want to achieve, I think is
allow yourself room to grow.
So very important.
So you can become Amazon.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah, and the proper expectations is we have a couple different leads we're working right now where some good products, and they're wanting to sell it via e-commerce. And we have one guy who's doing something with a very different bedding type of product that he's wanting to take online, but he's wanting to only spend like $8,000 to $10,000 and to prove whether that product is good or bad, right? And that includes media and everything. It's like, that's not going to work. You need to get out there and do a test, but you may not be able to decide in the next 30, 60, 90 days if that concept you have is going to be feasible. You have to put a proper plan together and invest in that platform and invest in a strategy so you can understand if it is viable.
We did freeze on Phil's computer. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
That's okay. So at least you're not making any funny faces.
You didn't see them, I guess.
You guys all look good.
You all look good. I'll have to do a screen capture of that and show it to you later.
Because we're Texans.
Okay, so we're waiting for them to come up.
But we can still hear you. We can still say something.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep talking. Okay, so let's see what other clients. Start with the right expectation, absolutely, of what you want your website to be, what you want your business to be, right? I always like to push people back to their business. Doesn't Danielle look cute back there in those headphones?
Yes.
You're such a good sport, Danielle. You be rocking the headphones.
All in a day's work.
Okay, so I'm scanning through the tweets here to see what else we have. Always changing. Yes, everything is always changing. Determine what it is used for, says Joy. That sets priority of website design and content. Amen. Hallelujah. What else? Yeah. Depends on what the website is for, selling or making communication.
We're back in business.
They're back in business. Okay, so I think we are ready to hand over the screen to you. So who is ready to watch? Who is ready to watch a HostGator, Kyler, and Philip put together a website right before our eyes? So I'm going to hand it over to you.
I'll try to close it.
Whoa, what was that?
Oh, sorry. Can you still hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Can you hear me now? It's like that Verizon commercial.
We're having some technical difficulties.
Can you hear me now?
We're good
Yes. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
No.
Am I presenting to everybody?
now. I can do it.
No, we can't do that. Can you present my screen?
How many nuts does it take to turn on your screen?
I don't know.
Obviously more than what we have in this room. I don't want to share my screen. Why isn't it sharing your screen?
So if you hover over our icon at the bottom with the
there we are.
pointing down, click on Kyler and then present to everyone.
Present to everyone. There you go. Philip.
All right.
Oh, wait, it's Kyler. I have it on Philip. Okay, there's Kyler.
There we go.
No
All
wonder.
right, business. Okay, so I'm going to take you through several different things. So first of all, this is HostGator.com. There are many competitors out there like us, but we are HostGator, and here's how we have it. So if you were to come onto your website, you can go through the checkout process. You can see what we have, what we offer. We have everything from your
Wait,
basic
hold
web
on.
host.
It's not working. We're still not seeing it.
Oh, you're still not seeing it.
Mm-mm.
We're watching it on our screen.
So I'm going to turn it off and back on. It's under Kyler's.
Kyler, are you sharing your screen? Did you go up?
Up
do
on the
screen share?
Yeah, up on the left. Do screen share on that little green
Yes.
thing.
Are you seeing my icon?
We see that there. Now I see it. Now it's
All right,
up.
perfect.
There you go.
We're
All right,
on.
let us know if it doesn't
We're
work.
live.
All right. All right, so you have all this information. You have who we are. You have everything from web hosting to cloud hosting to hosting just for WordPress, which I'll show you as well. Then we have all the way up to the dedicated servers. If you start getting a little bit bigger, like up to Amazon level, and you need those dedicated resources for your server, that's what we have. So you would come to our website, check out everything you need here, and then say we're going to skip a few steps. We're going to buy the service. So we're going to go through there. So I really like this package. The hashing plan, which allows you to have a very basic website for someone who's just getting started. I would recommend the hashing package just so they can get on there, get those first steps. And if they need to upgrade, we can work with them and upgrade them as well. It's a very simple process. You come in here, you fill out the form, and for your customers, they can use the coupon code ZOOM, and it'll go ahead and 30% off.
Yes.
Set that up for you guys. So you can do that right now. It's live. But we're skipping several steps. We're going through, and we want to go ahead and say, hey, we got our stuff set up. So we went through. Let me change my screen to something else so you'll see something different. I guess not.
Hi, Kyler. We see your picture.
Sorry, I tried to show you something else.
You
But
really should move more. You were like on that log.
we get a quick email, and it just says, hey, HostGator.com, your account information. And as soon as you sign up, you're going to get this email, and it gives you hey, here's how you log in, here's how you do this, here's all that. I was trying to show you, but it's not showing on my screen. So we're just going to go assuming you got that email, you're going to log into your billing account. You can go in here, you look at your hosting packages, you have this whole billing account that does everything you pretty much need. You can see packages you have, anything else you need. You can log into your account.
Can manage your add-ons, other products you want to purchase.
Yep, that's kind of your one-stop shop for everything HostGator. So we have our share account. So I'm going to show you the first things that if someone were getting started with a hashing package, they'd have the shared account, and this is a test site. So I am going to go ahead and log into my control panel, something you see in the welcome emails, how to get into your control panel. And you come into your control panel. A lot of people, this is where you first get started. A lot of people don't even really stay here. You install WordPress and you use WordPress for the duration. But a lot of people miss out that there's so much more you can do here. So say you want to do email. You can type email in this find feature up here, and you have email accounts. You can create emails like Kyler@mydomain.com or Kyler@yourdomain.com or whatever you want your domain name and your email. You can create those. And you can do a lot of cool, interesting things here. But we want to show how to build a website, so I'm going to show you how to build a website. So while you're scrolling through, there's all these cool icons. I'd recommend looking through them. But what you want to do is you want to click this thing called Quick Install. It's going to take you to this another screen. So this takes you to our Mojo Marketplace. So basically, you can install pretty much any open source CMS or content management solution here. So WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, Quick Install, or PrestaShop, WHS, anything you want, you just click it, and it's going to ask you for some information, and you have to hit install. So say we want to install WordPress. Come in here, you hit install WordPress. You fill out some information, add your email, the title, everything you want here, and you hit install WordPress. Give it 2 seconds, maybe 3, and you're going to see an icon on the top that says, hey, you're installed. Get started.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had it right now, basically if you had a brand new website that you've never seen before, and your stuff is just there, you're going to see that you're going to have a website live right there in front of you. So I'm actually going to show you what it's going to look like. So this, after you installed your WordPress, you're going to have a fully functional website that looks like this. So,
Hello, world.
Yeah, so I did this, I skipped a lot of steps just so that we can make sure everything's working properly, but it's all going to work within a few minutes usually. So this is a fully functional website that you have on your domain name right now. There's the buttons you can click, you can move around, you can do anything you want here. But it doesn't look very pretty to me yet. So I want to show you how we can make it pretty.
Yeah, it needs some color and some content. Can we add some color, please?
Yes, we're going to do that right now. So this here, if you can still see it, is your WordPress dashboard. WordPress dashboard is everywhere you need for your WordPress. So like I said, some people never really go back into their control panel because once they get to WordPress, you can do most things you need here. So people will come to WordPress and you come in here. So we had this really very blanket site, and I want to change it to look a little different. So what you want to do is you want to change it to a new theme, a new template. And the way you do that is you scroll on your dashboard all the way down to Appearance, and you choose Themes. There's going to be some very basic themes installed already, or you can add new themes at any time by coming up here, hit Add New. What this is going to do is going to take you to this marketplace, a ton of free themes. WordPress is an open source, means anybody can write code for it, and there are literally thousands, if not millions, of themes out there that you can use for free. And here's a lot of them in their database that they can use.
The WordPress community is great, too.
Yes, the WordPress community is actually really amazing. So you have all these themes here. Here's their feature themes. You can choose what you want. And go, oh, I really like these. Or you can look at some of their popular themes. Oh, I like these. Or if you want, you can get a feature filter, and you'll come to this page, and it gives all these things you can search for. So say you want a theme that's blue, or say you want a responsive, so it can be great for your mobile devices. Hit responsive. Anything else you want here, you just choose them there. After you've chosen everything you want, you just hit Apply Filters. And it's going to give you all the blue themes that are responsive. Sometimes they're a little different blue, but you're going to see all these themes. So I kind of like this ocean one. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like on our site. Right now it's very bland. It doesn't do anything yet. But this is kind of a basic. So let's hit install. So in the old days, if you wanted to change the entire way your site looked, you're going to have to recode everything. Whereas this, you just change the theme and it redoes your entire website for you right there. So I installed it right there. I want to activate it. So now let's go back to what my website looked like. So without doing any code, I changed it from that very basic website to this website that has blue, and it can be responsive.
All in a matter of minutes.
Whereas I'm sure you and Phil can tell us back in the when you guys were building websites, it would take a lot longer to change these things.
I know where you were going with that.
So let's say I didn't like that one too much. Well, no problem. You can change it anytime. You come back up here, say I like this kimono theme.
Mm-hmm.
You hit install.
It's a lot easier than looking up hypertext color links for programming in HTML, like back in the dark ages.
Amen.
We're putting a background in there that's stretched.
Amen.
So now, as you see, I changed the new theme. It's installed, activated it, and now it's completely changed the look and feel of my website. It's got all these cool colors in the background. It's got a black background. It's completely different.
It took 5 seconds.
It took 5 seconds. And sometimes you can even change these a lot more. So up here, you can hit this customize option. Since these are built by developers, sometimes you get a lot of cool customized options, and sometimes you don't get too much. But let's see what this one has. So site identity. This is going to be the logo and stuff on top of your site. So say my HostGator blog, or I can change it to Hey Pam, and Hey Get Real Chat. Save and publish. And now that is live. You didn't have to find the code anywhere. So also, let's go back and see what else we can change with this theme. So the colors. Background color is white. What does this do for us? Doesn't seem like this one does anything. Interesting. So let's go back. Background image. Do you have a background image you want to add to it? What are some menus? You have menus that you want to put, because you have these menus over here, the recent posts, archives, all that. Do you want a different menu? Or do you want something else? So say you have this beautiful page that they have for the template, but you created a customized page in the background. So say my customized page is this Hello World post. So I hit a static page. I choose sample page or sample page. And now that is the front of my website. So I've changed that all up, which is choosing a couple things from the drop-down. So I don't like that. Let's go back to my latest post. Let's go back. And some themes are going to give you a lot of cool options here where you can change every little bit of it, and some themes aren't going to give you too much. Like this one didn't give you too much. But if you don't like it, you can change that theme at any time. So let's save and publish this. All right. So let's go back to my dashboard. Say I want to create a new page or a new post. Come to your dashboard, go to the post on the left-hand side. You hit Add New. And you get this editor. It's very similar to not WordPress, but it's very similar to Microsoft Word. So if you know how to write a document in Microsoft Word, you can use this. So you put your title here. As you can tell, I'm not the most creative person in the world sometimes. Hello, everyone. In here, it's the same thing as Microsoft Word. You type this is a page. You want to change the format of it a little bit. You want to bolden it. You can bold it. You want to italicize it, you can italicize it. You want to add media, you can add media, select files, and say, what do I want to add? I like this interesting picture I have.
You need a video of Snappy on there.
Oh, I'm putting a Snappy. Do
Okay.
you like this Snappy?
Oh, yeah, we like Snappy. That's a good one. What outfit does he have on?
I'm gonna dance with
Captain Picard.
It looks like Seminoles.
It's
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Star Trek. Okay. I need to
So
make
you
my
can
screen
give it
bigger.
a title, you can give it some alt text.
Oh, yeah,
you
there. He's Star Trek. I like it.
You can center it. You can link to it. You can not link to it. Say you want to link it to another website. You can put a custom URL, so google.com. You want to make it a large image. You want a thumbnail, full size, insert into post. And now it's in your website. If you don't like the size of it, you can also size it here. So let's say I like how it looks. And please, if you're more creative, make this look a lot better than I did. I hope you are. It's not going to be too hard to be more creative than I am. But as you see, this is now live on the website. If anybody's watching it now or later, you can actually go to OWP Beta Super User 21.net, and you can see this page live. I just published it 2 seconds ago. So that's the power of WordPress. It really kind of puts your ideas out there. So we talked about, hey, you need to just get something out there, get it done. Well, that's what WordPress can help you do. It helps you get it out there with little to no barriers. You just install WordPress and go.
Absolutely.
It's your creativity.
Absolutely. I have to tell you, because I remember the first time when I started my agency, and although I had programming experience from my younger days, and I got into WordPress, and I remember the first site that I installed, and now I can program almost better sometimes than some of our developers, and I actually drive them insane with that, but I remember the first night installing WordPress. I wish I would have known something like this, could have done this, because it actually, what started out as like a one-night project probably turned into a 3-week project. And it's amazing. That was back in like late 2009, and it's just amazing how far these platforms have come, right? Don't you think? And the themes that are available and the features that are available to customize. Because I can remember I was so thankful that I even understood code to get in there and be able to change it, and I didn't understand the WordPress looping, and every theme I would buy, although it would say you could customize it, you really couldn't, and then you would be working on a feature that was supposed to be a published feature of the theme, and yet there was a bug, so it didn't work, and you didn't find out till you got deep into the forums, and after you had already spent the $100 on the theme, whatever it was. So a question I have for you is, when people are doing building their site on this type of platform with HostGator, tell me about the time that you're saving them and them not having to jump through some of those hoops that I just described, like how things that you are building are tested, and where we know what's behind the black curtain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Think of it like this. When you want your car, well, I'll use the car metaphor again.
Mm-hmm.
We're mechanics versus somebody who is a Sunday hobbyist.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want your car to get up and running right, take it to a mechanic.
Right.
Well, those guys.
Right. That's a good. And then how, talk to me a little bit about the themes that you have, like with the Mojo themes, how they are going to be a lot more solid than some of them that are out there. Because a lot of people just wind up going and doing a search for a certain type of theme. They'll search for a theme like from their industry or Blue or whatever, and then they wind up on some random page that's got affiliate links to it, trying to sell themes. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And you don't know the author. So, I mean, can you just talk a little bit to educate some people on the importance of the source of that platform of what you're building your site on, and how a lot of times even that can be a way that small businesses are getting hacked, right? It's through plugins, and it's through a bad theme to begin with, and why it's so important to start that foundation with a company that you can trust.
Well, the nice thing is that all of the developers that submit their plugins and themes to the Mojo Marketplace are fully vetted. Okay. And if for any reason there were any kind of coding issue, or if a plugin or theme were to break, then Mojo Marketplace will support it. So rather than purchasing a theme from an illicit third party that you don't know who the author is, it may not be supported, and you pay money for it, it breaks, and the developer disappears, you're out of that money you paid for the theme. Yeah. Whereas Mojo team is as I said, they fully vet every piece of software that comes through there. If anything goes wrong, we support it, and we'll get you squared away.
Yeah. Good. I think it's just so important. I just want to bring that point home, because we see so many clients that come to us that have just really built their platform on a bad foundation, right? It's just like building a house. You got to start, even if they're simple blocks, my belief is you got to start with the right simple blocks, and then have a foundation that you can build on instead of just throwing mud down and hoping that it sticks. We just had a good question come in about, this is from Roxanne, about the responsiveness of these sites and how easy, how important. Let's talk about what that means for a site to be responsive, a mobile responsive. One of
So
my favorite topics.
yeah, so we have responsive. That means that it will shrink down to the person's screen. So if you have a mobile, it's going to be responsive and it's going to respond to the screen size of that person's device. Either it's a Nexus 5 or it's an iPad, whatever it is. If you have something that's responsive, it's going to look good on all devices. Now that you can also get that confused with like mobile friendly, where sometimes it's built for desktop or it's built for mobile. It's not really responsive. So like sometimes your tablet will sometimes look like desktop or look like mobile, and it's not always a true perfect experience. Whereas responsive, wherever you do with it, let's see if I can do it with this. Whatever you do with it, it's going to look beautiful. So I don't know if I didn't remember if we got this theme to be responsive, but let's go ahead and try it out. All right, so we're going to.
Yeah, and we see a lot of, we work with a lot of businesses that will come to us and they'll say, well, you can see my site on your mobile device, pull it up. It's it's mobile friendly, and you pull it up and it looks exactly the same as it does on a large screen. So it's like it'll have the slider and it'll have the 3 boxes and it'll have the text and nothing can be read. And then you put it up in front of them and you're like, okay, so can you read this?
Yep.
Well, no, you need to like slide it and make it go. No, that's not what mobile responsive means. So let's talk about that.
Yep. So the responsive, you look at this website now, I guess the theme I chose was not responsive. It wasn't in my filters for responsive because I didn't use that filter again. But say if you look at something like HostGator, where if you, no matter whatever you choose here, it's going to look beautiful on your screen.
Right.
So scroll down. Everything is built for those screen sizes. It makes it look better. And the cool thing about WordPress is they have all those themes out there. A lot of these themes do have responsiveness built into it. So you can just check that out. There's a lot of feature filters.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah, and a good way to explain it is, how you see, like, can you scroll down a little bit? So I would love to demo for everybody, like, an area that has, like, 3 sections of content. So, like, here we have WordPress hosting, VPS hosting, dedicated hosting. And now can you shrink the screen and then show them how then those boxes that started out horizontal, now they are going vertical, right? And that is what a mobile responsive site will do. It's going to adjust to the size of the device and everything about that device, and it's still going to be viewable, right? So that's the key thing. Another thing I think is worth talking about is menus, like any advice that you can give on menus, and not just throwing navigation menus into a site, but really making sure that you're looking at how those menus then are displaying on a mobile device and planning for that, making sure you design a menu that's designed for mobile. Because I think a lot of companies will spend the money and the time on a mobile responsive site, and then you have a hard time getting any of the menus to work, and you want to contact them. You like all the content on the site, but then you can't figure out how to get to the menu to find the contact form.
And that's the great thing about a lot of these themes on WordPress that are responsive, that they already have something like that built into it. Whereas, I mean, this one I chose, it doesn't have it. But if we were to, shrink HostGator down, the menu up here looks great. But then if you shrink down, that menu now goes away. But if you click up here, it has this. So the menu feature I showed you earlier, there's going to have those themes that have a hook that catches your menu, and it's going to make it look pretty like this. So if you find a website that is not, or you find a theme that's not responsive, change it to another theme. See what it looks like. Make sure it does what you need to do.
Yes, I love that, and that's, I think, a key thing. And if that's why I love everything that you're demoing for our community today, because I know we have a ton of do-it-yourselfers and small business people that are part of our community who don't have a big budget and really don't understand a lot of this digital, world of development and websites and blogs. I know a lot of people that don't even have blogs yet. And so that's really why we thought it would be so helpful to talk about this and help you understand how easily it is for you to get started with a company like HostGator, and that you really can crawl, walk, run, right? You can start in that little koi pond in your front yard, and start to then fill that with fish. It's like, let's get it started. Let's build that home base. Let's start to build it out. And then as you need to expand, it's easy for you to grow. It's easy for you to choose different themes. It's easy for you to add e-commerce when you need to. And I have to just give a plug for HostGator because we've been with them a long time. And that's actually how we became to be partners, right? In that I was your customer first, and you've been servicing me for many years. And anytime I've ever had a problem, it's usually a problem that is on our end. There's something we've done wrong. All I have to do, honestly, is send a tweet and say, help! And it's never on a Friday night, on a Friday morning or a Monday morning. It's always on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, or 2 o'clock in the morning when nobody's there. We're here.
They're there. And honestly, they're a tweet away. I mean, they're one tweet away. I'm able to send a tweet and say, help me out, guys. And, they're able to get a ticket entered. And then I'm usually just replying on my email approving the fixes that they need to go fix and help clean up. And that's even if, I've had attempted hacks. We've had, we now use our site lock security service and put our clients on there. And I've been able to grow. That's what I've liked the best about HostGator is it's a trusted resource. We haven't had to bring that infrastructure in-house, right? So even for our clients, we haven't had to bring those IT resources, the cost of that to help us scale. When I need to grow my site, when I need a larger platform to support more traffic and volume, I'm able to just make a call or, submit a ticket where I live on that billing platform you showed earlier. If I don't know where to go, that's where you go, right? You go to that central location for HostGator, and I'm able to, you've been able to help us grow in a very cost-effective, time-efficient way, and I know it's always going to work. So that's huge.
Those are the kind of stories I love to hear.
Yeah. And I love it, right? And like right now, I mean, even if you look at like the Marketing Nuts, our agency site, we need to grow that. I need to get that on a dedicated server. And so the process that I'll use is contacting HostGator, and they'll move it over. I'm not going to have to touch it.
Allow me to introduce you to Kyler.
Right. I'm not going to have to worry about it. I don't have to have a resource figure that out. I know that they're going to be able to take it and move it over. We need to move everything to the cloud. So any...
Another question.
Yeah.
I submitted a question.
Okay.
I'm really interested. Is it better to have a simple, responsive web page, mobile optimized, or focus on desktop first with great analytics?
Could you guys hear that?
Yes. So if you're using something in WordPress and it's not mobile responsive, make it look how you want. But then if you look at analytics later on and you see that 50% of your traffic is mobile, you need to figure out what your mobile site looks like. And if it doesn't look great, 50% of your users aren't happy with you now. So change the theme in WordPress, or get a developer, but you can just change the theme and then make it mobile friendly. Or you can use plugins, which I hadn't got to yet. You can use plugins that will make a mobile site for you as well. It'll be a very stripped down version of your website, but it'll help give you that mobile feel.
Absolutely. And I think, companies, and whether small or large, need to be really careful of thinking, well, I don't have a mobile audience, right? Because we've worked with even enterprise organizations, Fortune 10 brands that have told us, well, our audience is not mobile, and I don't need to worry about that mobile user. Well, the first time we take them onto a Google Hangout, the first time they start to engage on social, the first time we build them an actual real website, they find out they have, 50 to 80% mobile traffic. Yeah. And because if you've trained your clients, your audience, and that you aren't supporting mobile, of course you're not going to have mobile traffic, because they go there one time and then they realize that they can't read your content on your site. So I truly have a belief of mobile first, and I think that it needs to be part of a DNA, and I don't think that, I don't advise any business we work with not to start with a mobile responsive site from day one. And why would you want to outcast any percentage of your audience for that? Now the question, do you optimize for desktop? Do you optimize for mobile? That's going to depend and look at those things, but I don't think you can ignore mobile, and plus the fact that Google doesn't want you to ignore it either, right? Google is going to reward you on mobile searches, the mobile get-in thing that happened a while back. I did a podcast on that a while ago with details, and I'm sure HostGator, you have some content on that too, but you're going to get downgraded in search results, particularly on a mobile device, for searches that are happening on a mobile device, if your site is not able to be read on a mobile device, right? So if somebody's searching on an iPhone and your site is not going to be able to easily be read and understood by them, have a conversion page and all of those things, then you're going to be hosed in the Google world. Anything you want to add for that?
No, you hit it dead on. I mean, I think it's funny when people are like, oh, my people aren't on mobile. That's like with me, I'm a Facebook advertiser. It's like, oh, my customers aren't on Facebook. You're joking, right? Like, are you on Facebook? Yeah, okay, then it's safe to assume that your customers are. Think about yourself. Browse on mobile? Yes, well, your customers probably do as well.
Right. And it's truly taking the time to understand who your audience is, right? And not making assumptions without actually having data, right? Not making assumptions that your customer isn't doing something. Too many times there's like one or two people inside of an organization who maybe we were with a new potential client today, and there may be one person in an organization that doesn't understand LinkedIn, for example, and so they haven't even looked at LinkedIn as a platform. They haven't looked at a mobile responsive site just because that's not how they're doing the world of social and digital. But yet you start to talk about the audience, and they're targeting an audience that is professional, that is busy, that is working, that has a job, between the ages of 35 and 45. Sorry, you're going to have a higher chance of getting them on LinkedIn than you're going to have getting them on Snapchat. So you need to truly know where your audience is, and figure out where they are and how you can build a platform that is going to help you best serve and communicate with them, and help that audience satisfy their needs. Right, that's what it's all about. And how can you give them what they want when they come to your site, not just how can you sell to them. Boom shakalaka, right?
Shakalaka. Excellent placement of that.
Excellent placement, yes. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have? So I have a question. I know we've skipped over a few of these. So now you built this site and it looks great, but is that it? What was that supposed to be, that question?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So you built the site and it looks great. Now what?
Well, like I said earlier, limitation is your imagination.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now I have this basic website. What else do I want to do? Let's explore the plugins functionality. Do you want to add more stuff to it? Because, I mean, the theme is kind of your foundation of what your site looks like. But if you want to add functionality to it, that's what plugins are for. Mm-hmm. So plugins are open source as well. So you can go to add new plugins. And anything you want. You can either have a developer make it for you, like, oh, I want social plugins to share my stuff. Or I can go in here.
Drum roll.
Search for social offers and pop-up, social login, anything you want for social, it's here. Same thing with your theme. You just choose install. I want to say choose this one for no particular reason. Hit install. Let's install it, and it's activated. And with themes, you're going to be able to customize it, and now you have the functionality to share WordPress plugins or share on social. If you want to capture email, you come back here and search email capture or email leads, or whatever you want. So you get all these cool things. And once you get that, then you start thinking about your social media strategy, which is entirely, you can actually talk a whole day about social media strategy to promote yourself. And if you want, you can actually come to us. We do have marketing services as well. Or if you'd like, you can do it yourself.
Exactly. So can we talk about plugins for a minute? I think that's another interesting topic. We have like 5 more minutes.
It's a great topic.
Yeah, so let's talk about plugins. What advice, because I know plugins can definitely be a way in for those terrible, mean hackers, idiot hackers. I have a big dislike for hackers. That's all I can say. And hackers are really a bunch of robots, right? I mean, they're these nerds that set up these scripts that are running, trying to break into our site constantly. And so tell me the risks of themes and plugins as they relate to keeping your site safe?
Well, the biggest and most important thing is to make sure that your themes and plugins, as well as your WordPress version, are up to date to the latest release version, because that's what happens with where a lot of malware or compromises come from, is an exploit from an outdated version.
Yep. And then also, Phil kind of alluded to this earlier, is the Mojo Marketplace, you have vetted programmers, whereas these open source platform or open source code, these developers could be just sticking anything they want into these theme files. They can add malware, or they can simply push it to your stuff. Whereas if you go to a trusted provider like us or Mojo Marketplace, you're not going to have that. So this happens with themes and plugins, where that person, if they could be, one could be hacked, it can push that plugin or the malware to all the plugins that are installed, and that could be you, unfortunately. Right. So some things that you can do kind of help prevent yourself is see the last time it was updated. It was updated 3 weeks ago. Means this developer is actively trying to keep it updated and secure. You might have some that were updated 23 hours ago or 3 months ago. You can also see how many active installs are on it. So this one has 20,000 active installs. So that means 20,000 people haven't had an issue yet. So I might like it. You can also click it, open it up, and you can usually get reviews. And you can see the reviews. So like anything that you're buying online, you can get reviews on it. So you want to get these reviews and see, like, hey, what are people saying about it? What do they like? What do they not like? Is this not good for me? And you see all these reviews here. So you want to kind of vet your plugin just like you're vetting a mechanic. You want to make sure it's going to be good for you and they're not going to mess up your car.
That's such good words. Use it, vet it like a mechanic, and it's so true. And so many times, I even find it tempting. You'll find a really cool plugin that looks great on screen, and you really want to install it on your site or on a client site, but then you look at the, it's maybe been installed 100 times, there's a couple bad reviews, and people are saying it took my site down or it caused performance issues. I mean, those are things to be really careful of, right? You don't want to take a risk. And even some of the well-known plugins out there, like we've even had problems with Gravity Forms when we haven't updated it. That was a backdoor that HostGator saved me a couple times on. And SiteLock, I think it was the reason we had to get SiteLock. And so it's true that you have to keep those plugins up to date, right? Because the hackers are always finding ways to get a backdoor into your site, and they can like spray all types of bad malware and code into your site with the goal, that they a lot of times will just want to have a link back to their pages, right? They're putting stupid links in there that are trying to link back to their site. So it's that could be a whole conversation in itself.
But. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the vast majority of the support issues that we see with compromised sites, particularly WordPress, do originate from either a WordPress version, plugin, or theme that's usually quite a bit out of date.
Right.
And that's something you can easily take care of and maintain on your own. That you don't need a developer or even us to help you with it. We obviously will, but that's just it's a simple procedural thing that can save you a lot of heartache in the long run.
Absolutely. So would you say that like the setup that you have with HostGator and Mojo themes and all that, does it make it, are people pretty safe in doing like the auto update with WordPress? Because I know a lot of times that can cause, you always have to do the research to make sure that the theme is ready for that version of WordPress. So are there any benefits you can talk to with that? Are you following me?
I do recommend going through with automatic updates. It's just interesting you have the latest and greatest software. But there's a caveat with that. As I stated at the beginning of this, always make a backup. Always make a backup.
Right, and you can auto-schedule those backups with WordPress, with HostGator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I mean, in the past, WordPress would update every once in a while. Now it's updating, seems like every other day.
I know.
Themes are relying on dependencies within WordPress, and it can probably break. Just make sure you're checking your website, and if someone's something, check it out now. Don't just go, I'll get to it.
Yeah, because a lot of small businesses, they don't have time to, or the resources to be able to put that on a development server, right? They can't test it. They don't know how to test it. So they can't move it to a development server. They don't even know what that is, right? They just want it to work. So I think the key is making sure that you have backups installed. If you're going with somebody like a HostGator, it's just a conversation you need to have with somebody on the phone. You don't have to go set it up yourself. You talk with HostGator and you say, can you please make sure that I have daily backups happening? And it will save your behind. I mean, there will come a day that you will be so glad you took the 10 minutes to have that conversation when that site goes down. And I'll tell you,
For
you
this-
learn one time and it'll never happen again. Right? If only you could get every customer to do that, correct?
Exactly.
How much better, easier your life would be. So any other questions we have, Danielle, coming in?
Yeah, there's one more.
Okay.
What's the best approach to define the most useful sitemap or site structure that is intuitive and easy to navigate?
Did you hear that one?
Say it again.
What's the best approach to define the most useful sitemap or site structure that is intuitive and easy to navigate?
With WordPress, you can use the Yoast SEO plugin. I think helps you build a sitemap.
Yep, there's a lot of plugins like that, and Yoast has one that's built in. It's YOAST. It's a very popular SEO plugin, and it kind of builds that for you, so you don't have to worry about it.
There's a plugin that we use too. I'll tweet it here in a few minutes once we log off. There's one that we use that's like a Google I think it's a Google sitemap, but there's a couple others that we use that are really simple. And you don't have to install all of Yoast. That do the same thing. That's really nice.
It's just the way WordPress is built with the database structure. It's really simple. These plugins can pull that information and put it on the sitemap really fast. So you don't have to code it at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. And those things matter. Like those are things you want to do your research, right? And that's where, small businesses, they need to do their research. If you're not going to hire a consultant or an agency to help you, you're going to have to do a little bit of research on some of these things that you need as a foundation on your platform, right? You're going to have to take some responsibility and make sure that you're setting your site up so it's mobile responsive. Make sure that you're keeping things up to date with WordPress and plugins and everything built into the platform. Make sure that you're building a site that Google can read and understand, and you're doing the basic SEO things that you need to do on site. And HostGator, I'm assuming you guys can help them with that as well.
Yep, we're here 24/7 to help you with anything you pretty much need.
And they're serious. 3 a.m. They're there.
Snappy is the man.
Snappy is the man. Okay, we're going to have Snappy. We've been talking about having Kyler and maybe Philip, now that we know you, Philly, and Amelia. We're going to have you guys come down to Florida soon. Maybe when we finally do our ribbon cutting for a new office.
All right, sounds good.
We'll have to have you come down to
We
Florida.
like Florida.
Not a bad place to come.
No, it isn't.
And where in Texas are you?
Right now we're in the Austin office. I'm from the Houston office, but I'm visiting these guys here in Austin.
Okay. We have a lot of clients that are expanding in Texas, so we may be getting down there soon as well. That would be fun.
Texas is great.
It's booming. It's crazy. So Houston's exploding too.
And Austin's really on the up and coming in the IT field. Houston's been there. There's a lot of oil and gas in Houston, obviously, but
Is that what it is? Yeah.
the IT business is really growing and expanding.
Austin's awesome. All right. So any other questions, Danielle? Anything else? Any other tips you want to add before we close off? Any other advice?
Keep on Zoom to save 30% off.
Yeah. So say that domain really loud so people can hear it. Slow and loud.
HostGator.com/Zoom.
HostGator.com/Zoom, and you can save 30%. That's huge. Right, that's a big saving for getting your site started. So thank you. I just want to say thank you so much to the HostGator team. You guys are awesome. You've taught me so much over the years, and I love being able to take your knowledge and share it with our community as well. I'm sure this will be an asset, this video, that's going to be very helpful to our community and people that don't even know who you or we are yet. So thanks to Google. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Pam.